or battery, So what happens sometimes? So let's take some more berberine. Ending the antifungal thing and all that. I have still 7 days with. Well, there's a little diflucan in the body still. Oh, that was I put some oil in this. Well, so, what you call this? Clove oil. Tastes a little stingy, but any case, let's get back to it. So I lost the battery, but of course I can change the battery on this mobile. And that's one of these things where they're talking about the environment and all that. And yes, all the mobiles pretty much is sold that you can't change the battery. And they're talking about, trash and this and that. You see, again, they're speaking, out of both sides of the mouth. It's utterly bullshit, outrageous, and it's typical, it's hypocritical, You have all these, industries that are making the products not last, too long and all that, designed absolution and all that. And yet you want to give the users, the people, all the baggage in regards of, even if it's the industry on purpose making things break, over time. So people will go out and buy some new again and again and again, It's like in regards of the bulbs in the lamps. They made a deal so they were not only allowed to burn for 1,000 hours and not anymore. It's not that you couldn't make them, go longer than 1,000 hours, but they designed them on purpose to only last around 1,000 hours. What an outrageous world we live in, And of course the same thing in regards to these pants for women and all that. Apparently they were so strong, so they needed to go back to the design board to make them, not last. Because, if you make if you make some pants for women that last forever, or a very long time, you will not be able to sell that many, It's just disgusting, and you can see this as well on for example, there's this program in regards of, what's it called, the Dragons or something like that, where people come in and all that. And I've seen at least once in regards to that program where they, I'm sometimes led astray in regards to this bullshit because YouTube comes up with something. And but anyway, and then you at least once I've heard that, I actually think I've more than once, but at least once in regards of how long it lasts and all that. And they were concerned in regards, if the product lasts forever, well, there's no prospect in regards of selling more, and thereby then it becomes uninterested. You have to be kidding me. What is this bullshit world, Give me a break. Why wouldn't you have a product that lasts, No, money, 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 money. Yeah, because if we make something that actually lasts, we would have less trash in the world because people wouldn't need to buy something new again and again and again. That will take a huge amount of trash away from. But no. So again, they speak out, on both sides of the mouth. And there's just so many bullshitters in this world. And, and it's just so tiring to, anyway. So, I don't know in regards of the, I know when in my days in regards to the truth movement, when I did a lot of, and when there was not that much control on the internet, but, one should be able to find it. There are some people out there keeping some of these things alive, but I remember I had a huge collection of truth documents and movies and all that is usually not getting, getting, what shall we say, seen by people, not being shown in the television and all that. And sadly, I ended up deleting a huge amount of it because I've, I don't know. It's just, I don't have it. I don't really have it anymore, sadly. But that was, about every single subject and all that. That was in regards of power, in regards of these scientists inventing things, in regards of easily, getting power, a water machine, working on water and whatever, many different kinds of, energy machines, There's a documentary called Zero, the Road to Zero Point Energy, I think it is. That's one of them. But there was a lot of different documentaries about these inventors and, anyway. And of course, there's also more mainstream sources I remember from in regards of, a car running on water. So there's multiple stories on that actually. Anyway, but they want to control us, and they don't really care of, let's just continue to pollute the world and trash, make more trash and all that. Again, it's a world run by Satan, and that's sadly how it is. Anyway, but there was a lot of interesting things in regards to the money system, in regards to how things are made. Actually, in regards to the bulb, was actually sent in the night, so I don't think many people did see it. But and I can't remember if it actually was a Danish documentary, but it was actually pretty interesting how you could see how they made deals to no, same thing with yeah, it's bullshit world. It's a bullshit world, just looking at the mobiles, right? We're not even allowed to do what we want with the mobiles. They are locked. You can't do what you want. It's not, they are just locked down. They have, you're paying 5,000 kronos, that, let's say that would be around $1,000 for a mobile phone, right? And you can't even do what you want with it. I have to be kidding me. And then, of course, in regards of software and all that, they can just do so it becomes slower or whatever, and make issues in regards of, so you want to buy a new one, right? Yeah, bullshit. Anyway, some of the more recent smokescreens include insolvencies of banks, record real estate foreclosure, high unemployment. Like the televisions. How many wanted a new television again and again and again, a bigger television, a bigger television, a bigger television, a bigger television, and so forward. And it's just, give me a break. Anyway, some of the more recent smokescreens include insolvencies of banks, and also in regards to, for example, my last computer. They made it so the last thing that you can actually get into in the laptop is the CPU fan. That would be one of the first things that you should have access to in regards to the CPU fan. So if the CPU fan goes broke, you can change it easily. But no. You need to take everything apart in regards to this laptop to get into that place. That I can only think that that's on purpose. I think they have done that on purpose. It is, it's disgusting. And of course, I should have checked that before actually, getting the laptop. I don't know if it actually was possible to check it out, but I should have seen if I could figure out. At that point in the past, in regards, I had two choices, and the other choice might have been better in regards of, but so I don't know. But now it's many years and it doesn't really matter anymore. Of course, it's too late. But anyway, I might have picked the wrong choice. Anyway, some of the more recent smokescreens include insolvencies of banks, record real estate foreclosures, high unemployment, government oppression, and that's the thing I'm thinking in regards to work and all that. We could release a lot of work and commit to other things. It's like a lot of work out there seems to be like, some are throwing the bricks on, over the wall in one place, and on the other side, people are throwing it the other way, It's just stupid, Anyway, high unemployment, government oppression, government loans to automobile manufacturers, banks, and insurance companies, military actions in Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan. How much resources have been used in regards to these things, High inflation, cap and trade, immigration issue. I don't really like, to think in money. I think in resources, and if, it's just incredible. Those people in the so-called, in the medical mafia, and talking to them that, if we just gave the information to the people in regards of health and all that, we could cut down a lot in regards of health, issues, because people would have, access to how they could keep healthy, right? But no. What does people say? Oh, then I would lose my job. I'm like, okay, so you're more you're more worried about your job as a nurse or whatever than actually in regards of keeping people healthy. It's like in regards of curing cancer and all that. Oh, I'm more worried about my job, so, because if there came a cure in regards of fixing, cancer and all that, I would lose my job and all that, because there wouldn't be any need of me. Well, then we just have another resource that can be used in another place. And of course, in regards of people surviving, it's like, it doesn't go into the head of people, they don't think of their neighbor, that they're killing to the left and the right. And I'm really tired of this bullshit thing that is coming up. I really don't know what to do about it, I could try to install the new version that's, in regards to this application and see, but it seems to actually be worse last time I did it in regards of not being able to connect to YouTube, although it had taken all the advertising away from the application, which was pretty nice, But apparently, as one reason it had a lot more difficulty to actually connect to YouTube, which of course is interesting, a newer version that has problems and more problems than the past version, it's just... banks and insurance companies, military actions in Iran, Iraq and Afghanistan. You would think that a newer version of a program would actually, be able better to connect to YouTube than an older application, right? Well, no. Anyway... And Afghanistan, high inflation, cap and trade, immigration issues to bring illegal Catholics into vote for Catholics and Muslims, which are a division of Catholicism. So here he talks about that Mohammedanism, I would have called it Mohammedanism, because Muslims means something in regards of, it means to, what's it called, to, and I don't want to use that word. So they are called Mohammedans because we have always called them Mohammedans, and we call them Mohammedans because they follow the false prophet Muhammad. Okay, that makes sense. It's the same thing with the papists. We call them papists because they're followers of the papacy. Something like that. Anyway, in any case, or Romanists because they're following the Roman Antichrist. Well, you get it. Anyway, so which are a division of Catholicism. So immigration issues to bring illegal Catholics in to vote for Catholics and Muslims or Mohammedans. Again, when they are allowing Mexican Catholics to come into the U.S., from the Latin America, why do you think they're letting Latin American citizens come into the U.S., which was primarily a Protestant nation? I think it was like 99% of the people, in regards of those 13, they were Protestants. Now, how many Protestants compared to Roman Catholics and all the rest is there now in the U.S.? And now you have Catholics in government positions and and so forward, and Freemasons and all that bullshit, and of course Mohammedan. Anyway, they're trying to destroy the truth as best as they can, and of course the U.S. is now today used as a hammer for Rome, so out in the world, any case. So, high inflation, cap and trade, immigration issues to bring illegal Catholics into, invaders would be a better word, I guess, to bring invaders, in regards of Catholics into vote for Catholics and Mohammedans. You have some of these night groups where it talks about in their oath that they are to vote on Catholics, if there's a choice in regards of voting for a Catholic or Protestants or whatever, they are to vote for the Catholic, it's just disgusting. They are they are. It's Romanism is very, very, very terrible. It's a great enemy. It's a disgusting system. Anyway, which is a division of Catholicism, and this was something that Alberto Rivera also talked about. That Mohammedanism, how Mohammedanism actually was created, how Muhammad was trained by the Vatican Church or Rome. And the thing is, and I remember talking to some Mohammedans, and they actually just there was something that made the case worse, in regards of, but I can't, where they tried to defend this, and it actually made that case worse, but I can't remember what it was. But when you look at Mohammedanism and Catholicism and see how many, I saw one of these Mohammedans. He became a Roman Catholic, and he was talking about all the the things that they had to in an agreement and all that. So you see so many things that are interesting in regards to why would they agree on these, but things that are false. And they're both in green, and of course both of them are persecuting real Christians, And so, again, and of course, when you're reading Alberto Rivera and you're thinking this is outrageous, and then you find out it's true, then the question is, how many other things that he told was true that you might think is outrageous, Yeah, that's Well, I remember when I read his cartoons in the beginning. I so many things. I didn't know much about Roman Catholicism at that point. So many things flew over my head, and then I found out so many of the things that he was saying was true, and I began to find out who is actually lying to you, And that, of course, is the Roman Catholics, lying, throughout that, just incredible, lying. Very sad. No, it's just I just fixed the tea over my t-shirt here. Anyway, a little warm. Anyway, so bring illegal Catholics in to vote for Catholics and Mohammedans, and of course you can see Catholics also talking about and making fun of it. Oh, that was they were anti-Catholic and all that, and Catholic bashers and all that. And of course, sometimes you can find some pretty good information from the Catholics, while they're talking about it, because they are mentioning some of the things, the names and some of the, So sometimes you can use their own resources because they're just making fun of it, like, they didn't know what they were talking about, these Protestants, right? It was just, there's nothing true to it. They're just what do you call it? They're, it's just disgusting, So anyway, but of course that's one way of finding out some of the information in regards of getting back to some of the truth, because sometimes there's some good information slipping out from them, and some good anti-Catholic material slipping out from them, and where they are mentioning, this, is terrible, that's mentioning that the Pope is the Antichrist and so forward. I was like, okay, that sounds like an interesting source, So anyway, and we also have Irish Catholics also coming into the U.S., if I remember correctly, and I'm like, so there wasn't any other place that they could go or what, And then it seems like there might actually have been something in regards to the Jesuits and, where they have, in regards to starving and all that, and they might actually have fought. I don't know, I can't remember all the details, but, that's just how they, they fix the world on so many levels to do what they want. And I do wonder, how is it that these Catholics couldn't go any other place, Why is it that the Catholics had to come to the U.S., Oh, they couldn't go to Mexico or Argentina like the Nazis, after the war, by the Vatican rat lines, Oh, they couldn't go to Argentina or Mexico or whatever other Catholic nation in Latin America. No. They needed to go to Protestant U.S., Yeah. Oh, Doesn't talk, why does, how does that make any sense, And the U.S. being invaded by these Roman Catholics, and, beginning to corrupt and change things from the inside, and now, of course, the Mohammedans as well, That's disgusting. It's very sad. They're ruining everything, Rome is ruining everything, and the Antichrist, and it's just, and if we're not going to stand for the truth, we lose it, and we have lost too much. Way too much. We have, and the Jesuits, the special soldiers of Satan, are still active in our days, and, running the ecumenical movement, leading people back under the wings of the Antichrist, So if you want to see where the Antichrist is, just follow most of the proclaimed Protestants that have no idea who the Protestants actually protested, It's not really much Protestant over them anymore. Anyway, military actions in Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan, high inflation, cap and trade, immigration issues to bring illegal cuts. Isn't there enough Christians out in the world that is persecuted that you could take care of, Do you need to have all the Roman Catholics and the Mohammedans, or whatever else, But mostly it seems like, let's have all the Mohammedans into our nation, all the Roman Catholics, You have to be kidding me, So there's no persecution of any Christians out in the world that might actually need our help, and might actually, might be, much more, what shall we say, in regards to Jesus saying, what you have done to one of the least of my, least of my, you have done to me, I can't remember, the least of my, what does he use? Does he use, I can't remember if he uses, he doesn't use children, does he? I can't remember. But anyway, what you have done to these my least, my least, you have done to me. Wouldn't it be, more profitable than to go out and help those people that actually is Jesus Christ, that are his, whether they are small or great, what you have done to one of my least, you have done to me. Well, I think we should then help those, Being persecuted by the so-called religion of peace, being, having... Anyway, it just doesn't make sense. Well, let's just import Mohammedanism. Yeah, that's just outrageous, Most of our meat, as far as, 95% of the chickens in Denmark are slaughtered to Allah. It is halal meat. It is food sacrificed to a false god. Did anyone ask about that? And of course the butchers will say, oh no, but we cannot, in regards of mixing it, in regards of cows, for example. No, we cannot, divide the thing. They just, they have some, they don't care about it. Oh, this is halal and this is not halal. It doesn't matter. Let's just, fix it together and sell it to the Danish people, And they will say, but if we are going to try to divide that, it's going to cost more. What other bullshit? What is this demonic bullshit they're filling our ears with? The logic has just totally lost. No one asked you to slaughter it to Satan, okay? So don't give me that, will be more expensive. Don't give me that bullshit. That is outrageous bullshit, And that's what they will give you when they talk to these butchers, and this and that. And they don't care. They don't understand why you shouldn't slaughter meat to Satan, It's just, they just think it's the same meat, yeah. Oh, well. I think someone should have been in jail, and some of these companies should have been, given a huge fine, or some kind of, or maybe just thrown out totally. I don't know. That should have been done something against that. Absolutely, and it's still not being. Still continuing to sell food sacrificed to a false god without a son. So you're continuing to defile the Danish people that have never asked about that. And what does make what makes a Dane? It's like people don't even know what makes a Dane anymore. Oh, they need to eat swine and they need to eat Christmas and they need to follow. Oh, give me that. Oh, give me that bullshit, you know. You people need to go back to and read the Bible and to figure out in regards of a tribe. What does it, you know, how do you know you are of one tribe? Well, you know, if I have a worldly father, a fleshly father that is a Danish guy, I will be a Dane, you know. It doesn't matter in regards of what my mother is, you know. And that's just, you know, when they're doing all these DNA testing and all that, and, oh, I'm this and that and all that. Listen, you cannot use those tests to anything because, you know, it's going through the father. You know, if I go to China and find a Chinese girl and marry her and have a child from her and all that, that child is going to be a Dane, okay? And it doesn't matter where the child was born. He's going to be a Danish, you know. So don't give me that bullshit, you know. Anyway, you know, it's just incredible. Why do you think the Bible is talking about male gender, you know? Just look at the thing in regards of Jesus, you know. It's males until the last point in regards of Mary. Because it goes through them, it goes through the man. Anyway, and you can see it on so many other things. Women are less of a concern in regards of this. That is, you know, you see it in the Bible again and again and again. They're not really mentioning the women because the women is not in regards of the tribe, you know, because it goes through the man. So anyway, so in Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan, high inflation, cap and trade, immigration issues to bring illegal Catholics in to vote for Catholics and Mohammedans, which are a division of Catholicism. You know, and again, you can see so many pointers. Now, I still have I can see where it's go in regards of direction, in regards of Mohammedanism, and in regards of Roman Catholicism, but I still haven't any total solid, you know, where I can, you know. But, you know, it absolutely points in that direction, you know. Absolutely points in that direction. And of course, it's a topic that one can dig more into. I know there's more sources out there that might actually solidify it even more. What is it called? The guy... Can't remember what he's called at the moment, but he has... I actually need to. I should actually write to him in regards to that. He had some sources in regards of you know, some other sources that I haven't looked into, and he has understood that there are programs out there somewhere in regards of it. But anyway, terrorism, anthrax scares, the global warming scam, the swine flu epidemic, the healthcare bill, abortion, which is murder. Well, it's just murder. Homosexuality, also called sodomy. In regards to the Bible, sodomy, lesbianism, and of course you have all the transvestites and the pedophiles and all that. You know, they're just normalizing what is just abomination. Obama, Mohammedans, a one world government, and of course I remember one of these newspapers. I guess it's some years ago, and they were in the Danish newspaper I saw, and I should have taken a screenshot of it. I don't think I took any screenshots of it and all that. But they were talking about a one world government in regards to this Danish newspaper, where they were going to try to make like form what do you call it, a new world parliament, government, and all that. And that was something in regards to one of the Danish that was what was going to be set at the head or something like that at that point, you know, or having one of the head. You know, that was the reason why the article was in there. And I can't remember all the details about it, but, you know, just interesting. They just come out and say it, you know, in regards to world. It's again, sadly, I don't think I took any screenshots of it by the mobile. Which is very sad, because that would have been very interesting to actually read, you know, and have as evidence that this is the direction it actually goes. But, you know, as time goes, it becomes more and more clear. It should already be pretty clear what is going on in the world, but yet so many doesn't see it. But as the furthering things are going forward, It should be more and more clear to people. Anyway, the Guantanamo prisoners, terrorist trials in New York, churches being raided, the people in Israel being attacked and threatened, the prominence of Wellspring, which really is the reopening of the Cult Awareness Network, the FBI sending Christians, former Christians, to Wellspring to be deprogrammed, and to learn how to lie about pastors, discussions on communism, socialism, and the Tea Parties. Every day is something new, while the freedom of religion and the freedom of speech are their main targets and are all but gone. They might have promoted it in the beginning because in regards of when we stood on the Bible and said the Bible is the foundation. And then they wanted, because the Protestants did not want Roman Catholics to be in government positions because they knew that it was the greatest danger, and they made it illegal to keep the abomination of the Mass. So as far as I understand it was actually the Roman Catholics that began to cry over this, and thereby we got freedom of religion, freedom to worship Satan. And thereby, you have the opening up of Roman Catholics in government positions. You have the freedom of religion, thereby being free to do, to practice Roman Catholicism and the Mass and Freemasonry and so forward. And so forth. Anyway, and the freedom of speech, as I understand, the freedom of speech was still a Protestant that pushed for they would as you can see, it goes down down rolling, but it seems to be some of the Protestants that actually fixed and pushed for that they had to be allowed to speak the truth. They had to have freedom of speech in regards of always being allowed to speak the truth. Because, of course, Roman Catholicism don't like to, in regards of, look at the Dark Ages, So these people are wolves in sheep clothing, and Satan will use them on whatever level they are at, whatever level, they will take it in the wrong direction. And, little by little, and they have. It's just historical proof of that. Just look at history. And anyway, and of course we don't even, history. What do we really know about history anymore? Pretty much nothing in regards of, it's much better to get some old books, old historical Protestant books, instead of this bullshit we have in our days, Every day is something new, while the freedom of religion and the freedom of speech are their main targets and are all but gone. They are going to, they want to have full control. They don't want to be exposed and all that. Again, they're taking it a little. We lose more and more and more. And so freedom of speech, we absolutely have to speak up, If we lose the thing of speaking up, we have lost, We have then sold our children to the devil, and our the future mankind to the devil. Freedom of religion, we should absolutely be but in regards to freedom of religion, again, if you look back, the Protestants stood on the Bible. Do you think there's much freedom of religion when you stand on Judgment Day in front of God? Do you really think there's much? Hey, no, God, I don't really want. I proclaim freedom of religion and all that. I don't really want to believe in Jesus Christ and all that. You think that will work? And we're going, no, that's just go to the lake of fire. That's not really. That's the broad way that leads to destruction. God wants us to stand for truth. And that was what Protestant. They had their own issues. But that was what they. They had a lot of truth, and little by little it was taken away. And now in our days, we just, all this ecumenical bullshit, Anyway, and we can't even look 100 years back in regards of World War II and get the truth, because the Roman Catholic propaganda machine is still trying to what do you call it, to damage control what the church did in regards of World War II and all the connections and all that. It's disgusting. Yeah, just Hitler had, Nazi Germany had a concordance with the Vatican. It was written in 1933. After the war, the Nazis and the Hastati fled by the Vatican red lines to, for example, Argentina. Okay, yeah, give me a break. You see these things here and there and all that, and yeah. So, and of course, Argentina is a Roman Catholic country, and you begin to see puzzle pieces here and there. So you begin to be able to connect the dots, and thereby begin to see what is really going on. But they are really out there trying to. I can't remember the documentary, but that was a wonderful documentary in regards of information. I really would like to actually find that again because that was very interesting information. I didn't really, first when I saw it, I think it was like 2 or 3 hours, or I don't know. But anyway, it was in regards of Second World War. I had a period, I had, I guess, 2 periods where I was really looking into in regards of the Jewish persecution and all that. And because there's people out there saying it's not true and blah, 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 And in any case, so, and also being in Israel and all that, and going on the Yad Vashem and all that, the museum. So, any case, but that was a very, 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 very interesting thing, and I didn't really take notice much of it when I saw it. It was first later in regards to Roman Catholicism that I actually, thought back about it and actually thought that, well, it's actually a pretty important quote, actually. Pretty important. So it would be nice to actually be able to find that again. But I have tried and I couldn't find it. So, but it's out there somewhere, I know. So yeah. But of course, there's so much in material in regards of World War II and the Jews and all that. So, but yeah. But you see the connections. For example, also Israel. I think it was the Mossad, the special, and they actually got Reichmann from Argentina back to Israel, and he stood trial for what he had done and all that. So there again, you see one of these pieces that, yes, and we have so much information in regards of the Nazis going to Argentina by the help of Rome. Anyway, I need to have a break now. The toilet throne are calling, and I'm going to take a break here. Probably good for the voice anyway. I'll get back to you. Be right back at